Right now, your cat is watching you, not just looking, but studying. As you sit there, they are observing the subtle rhythm of your breathing, the specific scent of your skin, and the exact way you've positioned your body. But here is the unsettling truth. While you think you are looking at a furry companion who loves you, your cat is looking at something entirely different. In their mind, you are not a pet parent or even a human being. To them, you are a powerful, slightly chaotic force that occasionally breaks the ancient, invisible rules of their world. Most of us believe that our cats share our human emotions and understand our gestures of love. We assume that when we hug them or stare deeply into their eyes, they feel the same warmth we do. But that's a dangerous misunderstanding of the feline mind. In reality, some of your most common, loving habits are perceived by your cat as acts of territorial disrespect or even subtle threats. And it gets even more interesting. Your cat has been studying you since the moment you met, and they have noticed 5 specific things you do that they absolutely hate. The subtle behaviors you think are harmless are actually creating a silent friction in your home. If you miss these psychological cues, you're missing the chance to truly connect with the creature living in your shadows. By the end of this video, you won't just understand what stresses your cat out. You will discover a hidden truth about your own identity. A revelation that will change every interaction you have with your cat for the rest of your lives. Number 1, the deadly stare. Let's start with one of the most common things we do, the long, loving gaze. You see your cat looking cute on the sofa, and you stare at them with wide, adoring eyes. You might even blink slowly, thinking you're sending a kitty kiss. We assume that because eye contact is a sign of trust and connection between humans, it must mean the same thing to our cats. But here's the strange part. In the language of a predator, an unblinking stare is not an act of love. It is a challenge. To your cat, those wide, focused eyes look exactly like a hunter locking onto its prey. When you stare at them without breaking eye contact, you are essentially telling them that you are monitoring their every move for a reason. Most people never notice this, but your cat's pupils might dilate, or they might slightly shift their weight, preparing for a confrontation you didn't even know you started. Most cats have learned to tolerate our human weirdness, but the instinctual stress remains, and it gets even more interesting. While we think we're being sweet, their brain is scanning for an exit. But that's not the real reason this habit is so stressful. It's because it breaks the fundamental law of feline social etiquette, which prizes peripheral observation over direct confrontation. If you want to communicate peace, you have to learn to look away. By breaking your gaze, you are telling your cat that they aren't worth hunting and that the territory is safe. But even if you master the gaze, there is something much more personal that you are doing every single day that feels like a direct assault on their identity. Number 2, the invasion of scent. Think about the products you use, your perfume, your scented laundry detergent, or that citrus-scented cleaner you use for the kitchen. To you, these smells represent cleanliness and comfort. You might even spray a little air freshener near their litter box to help them out. We assume that because we enjoy a fresh-smelling home, our cats must appreciate the effort too. But this is where a common assumption leads us astray. Your cat's world is not built of sights. It is built of a complex, invisible map of scents. Every time you bring home a new fragrance or use a strong chemical, you are essentially erasing their identity. To a cat, their own scent is their security blanket. It tells them where they belong and who they are. But here's the strange part. When you cover the house in artificial lemon or lavender, you are effectively blindfolding your cat's nose. Most people never notice this, but a cat's sense of smell is roughly 14 times stronger than ours. A scent that is pleasant to you can feel like a physical weight to them. It gets even more interesting when you realize that cats have a special organ in the roof of their mouth, which allows them to taste the air. When you use heavy perfumes, they aren't just smelling it. They are experiencing it with their entire sensory system. This erasure of their scent map makes them feel like strangers in their own home. They might start rubbing their faces on everything more aggressively, or even urinating outside the box. Not out of spite, but as a desperate attempt to reclaim their territory. But that's not the real reason. It's because scent is their primary tool for social bonding. If you smell too much like a human product, they lose their chemical connection to you. And speaking of connection, the way you choose to touch them might be the most misunderstood part of your relationship. Number 3, the trapped embrace. We've all done it. The big full-body hug. You pick your cat up, pull them close to your chest, and squeeze. To a human, a hug is the ultimate expression of safety and affection. We assume that because our cats are soft and huggable, they must feel comforted by the physical closeness. But here's the strange part. To a cat, being held tight feels like being trapped. In the wild, the only time a cat is squeezed or pinned down is when they are about to be eaten. By wrapping your arms around them, you are taking away their most valuable asset, their ability to flee. Most people never notice this, but notice how their tail might twitch or their ears might flatten the moment you pick them up. Even if they don't scratch, their internal stress levels are skyrocketing. And it gets even more interesting. Cats have a very specific social map on their bodies. They have scent glands on their cheeks, their chin, and the base of their tail. When they rub against you, they are inviting you to share in their scent. But when you grab their belly or squeeze their midsection, you are touching vulnerable zones that they always protect. But that's not the real reason they hate the hug. It's about the loss of agency. A cat's trust is built on the idea that they can leave an interaction whenever they want. The moment you take away that choice, you become a predator in their eyes, no matter how much love you think you're giving. This subtle power struggle over physical space is happening every time you interact. But if you think your touch is the only thing that startles them, wait until you hear how you're affecting their ears. This deep understanding of their psychology is the key to changing your cat's life. If you notice your cat showing these signs of stress, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel right now. Most owners completely miss what is actually going on in their pet's mind. Number 4, the chaos of sound. Imagine you're sitting in a quiet room and suddenly a jet engine roars to life right next to your head. That is what a simple sneeze or a loud laugh feels like to your cat. We often make loud noises without thinking, shouting for someone in another room, clattering dishes, or turning the TV up. We assume that because we can handle the volume, our cats will eventually get used to it. But here's the strange part. Your cat's hearing is finely tuned to the frequency of high-pitched rodent squeaks. They can hear ultrasonic sounds that are completely silent to the human ear. This means that noises you consider normal are actually piercingly loud to them. Most people never notice this, but your cat's ears are constantly moving like radar dishes, even when they seem to be asleep. And it gets even more interesting. It isn't just the volume, it's the unpredictability. Because cats are both predators and prey, they are highly sensitive to sudden onset sounds. A falling remote control or a slammed door isn't just a noise, it's a potential attack. But that's not the real reason they hate your loud habits. It's because loud noises disrupt their acoustic map of the territory. A cat feels safe when they can hear everything coming. When you create a chaotic sound environment, you are effectively deafening their survival instincts. This is why many cats prefer to hide in high places or under furniture when you have guests over. They aren't being antisocial, they are trying to find a spot where the sound waves won't overwhelm their nervous system. Number 5, the betrayal of routine. Finally, let's talk about the most subtle habit of all, your lack of consistency. Maybe you wake up at 6 a.m. on weekdays but sleep in until 10 a.m. on weekends. Maybe you feed them at different times every night, or you randomly move the furniture around. You might think that variety is the spice of life, and your cat will enjoy the novelty. But this is where a common assumption is completely wrong. To a cat, routine is not boring. Routine is safety. In the wild, a cat's survival depends on the predictability of their environment. They need to know when the prey, the food bowl, is active and when the territory is quiet. But here's the strange part. Your cat is actually tracking your routine to ensure their safety. And it gets even more interesting. When you break your routine, you are essentially telling your cat that the world has become unpredictable. An unpredictable world is a dangerous world. Most people never notice this, but a cat who paces or meows excessively when you are late getting home isn't just hungry. They are experiencing a psychological crisis because their safety clock has been broken. But that's not the real reason this is so stressful. It's because you are the primary anchor in their environment. If the anchor moves randomly, the cat feels like they are drifting at sea. They study your behavior patterns to find a sense of order, and when you act inconsistently, you are failing the test of a reliable leader. This leads to the most fascinating realization of all, a discovery that explains why they watch you so closely. This leads us to a mind shift, the moment where everything you thought you knew about your pet changes. Throughout this video, we've talked about how to avoid stressing your cat, respecting their scent, and why you should stop staring, but we have still been using human terms. We use words like owner, parent, or friend. Here's the truth. Your cat does not see you as a human. They don't have a concept for another species that takes care of me. In the mind of a cat, there are only two types of things: cats and not cats. And since you aren't a bird, a mouse, or a dog, and you interact with them in a social way, they have categorized you as a cat. But not just any cat. To your cat, you are a giant, unpredictable, non-hostile cat. You are a member of their species that has somehow grown to a massive size and lost most of your hunting skills. Think about it. You don't hunt, you don't groom yourself with your tongue, and you move awkwardly through the house. You are essentially a large, slightly incompetent mother cat who never quite taught them how to hunt but provides all the resources anyway. This is the hidden truth. You aren't their master, you are their safe territory. You are a predictable presence that provides the security they need to let their guard down. They don't look at your face to see human expressions. They look at your body language to see if the giant cat is calm or stressed. When you stare, or spray perfume, or hug them tight, you are behaving like a broken cat. You are breaking the social contract of the colony. They study you because you are the most important resource in their world. You are the wall between them and the chaos of nature. Every habit we've discussed is a moment where you are testing that contract. They don't need a parent. They want a stable territory. They want to know that the giant cat sharing their home is someone they can trust to keep the world still. So, the next time you're about to stare deeply into your cat's eyes or scoop them up for a forced hug, remember the giant cat theory. Remember that they aren't looking for a human connection. They are looking for territorial stability. When you choose to look away, keep a consistent schedule, and respect their scent, you are speaking cat. You are telling them, the territory is safe. I am a reliable leader. You can sleep now. We started this journey by suggesting that your cat sees you in a way you never imagined. Now you know. You are the guardian of their hidden world. You are the silent partner in an ancient predator's life. By understanding the 5 things they hate, you aren't just being a better owner. You are finally becoming the stable, predictable presence they've been studying this whole time. The bond you share with your cat is not a human friendship. It is something much older, much deeper, and far more mysterious. They have chosen you as their sanctuary. They don't need you to be their master, but they do need you to be their advocate. They need you to notice the vibration of their ears, the twitch of their tail, and the subtle shift of their body weight. When you start to see that, you aren't just an owner. You are the keeper of the invisible map, and that is a bond that is truly meaningful, even if they never tell you why.